Master English faster with these 10 powerful rules. What if the biggest reason you still cannot speak English fluently has nothing to do with your intelligence? What if you are not bad at English? What if you are simply trying to become perfect before allowing yourself to speak? Think about that. Every day, millions of people learn new vocabulary. They watch English videos. They download grammar apps. They underline difficult words. They memorize tenses. They understand more and more English every month. But when someone suddenly asks them a simple question in English, their mind goes blank. Their heartbeat changes. They know the answer. They know the words. But somehow, the words refuse to come out. And then they tell themselves, "My English is weak. I need more vocabulary. My grammar is not good enough. I am not confident." Maybe that is not the real problem. Maybe the real problem is that you have spent too much time learning English silently and not enough time living English loudly. Because English is not only information. English is movement. It is sound. It is rhythm. It is courage. And most importantly, it is repetition. You cannot learn swimming by reading 100 books about water. At some point, you have to enter the water. You cannot learn cycling by studying the mechanics of a bicycle. At some point, your feet must touch the pedals. And you cannot become a confident English speaker by keeping English locked inside your head. At some point, you must open your mouth. You must sound imperfect. You must forget words. You must make strange sentences. You must laugh at your mistakes. You must try again. Because every fluent speaker you admire today once sounded like a beginner. They hesitated. They searched for words. They mispronounced things. They made grammar mistakes. The difference is not that they were born more talented. The difference is that they continued speaking when speaking felt uncomfortable. That is where your journey begins. Not when your grammar becomes perfect. Not when you memorize 5,000 words. Not when fear disappears. Your journey begins the moment you decide, "I will speak with the English I have today." In this video, I want to share 10 powerful rules hidden inside 7 life-changing lessons. These are not complicated academic theories. They are practical rules you can begin using today. And if you truly practice them, not just listen to them, you may discover something surprising. English may begin to feel lighter, faster, more natural. And by the final lesson, you will understand why becoming fluent is not really about forcing yourself to speak faster. It is about removing everything that makes you speak slowly. So stay with me until the end. And before we begin, write this sentence in the comments. "I will speak before I feel ready." Let that become your promise. Now let us begin. Lesson 1. Stop translating your life. The first rule is simple. Rule 1. Think in small English. One of the biggest reasons people speak English slowly is because they are doing 2 jobs at the same time. First, they create the sentence in their native language. Then, they translate it into English. Imagine someone asks, "What did you do this morning?" Your brain begins working. You remember what happened. You build the answer in your first language. Then you search for English vocabulary, then grammar, then pronunciation. Then you worry whether the sentence is correct. By the time you are ready, the conversation has already moved forward. This is exhausting. You are not speaking. You are translating. And translation creates delay. So how do you stop? Do not begin by trying to think complicated thoughts in English. Begin with tiny thoughts. When you wake up, think, "I am tired. I need water. It is cold today. I have work. I am getting ready." While walking, "The road is busy. That car is fast. I am going home. This place is beautiful." While eating, "This tastes good. I am hungry. I need another spoon. These sentences may appear too easy. Good. Easy is exactly what you need. Because fluency is not created first with difficult sentences. Fluency begins when simple English becomes automatic. A child does not begin speaking by discussing philosophy. A child repeats small patterns until language becomes natural. You need the same patience with yourself. Stop asking, "How can I think perfectly in English?" Instead ask, "What is the simplest English sentence I can think right now?" That question changes everything. You begin creating a direct road between your experience and English. No translation in the middle. Your eyes see something. Your mind names it in English. Your body feels something. Your mind describes it in English. Little by little, English stops feeling like a school subject. It becomes another voice inside your mind. And once English begins happening inside your mind, it comes out of your mouth much faster. But there is another problem. Sometimes you know exactly what you want to say, yet you still hesitate because you are searching for the perfect word. That brings us to the second rule. Rule 2. Use the words you already know. Suppose you want to say, "The experience was extraordinarily disappointing." But you cannot remember extraordinarily, so you freeze. Why? Say, "It was very disappointing," or "I really did not like it." Communication continues. Fluent speakers are not people who always know the perfect word. Fluent speakers know how to keep moving when the perfect word disappears. This is a powerful skill. If you forget exhausted, say very tired. If you forget delicious, say very good. If you forget destination, say the place where I am going. Do not allow one missing word to destroy an entire conversation. Your goal is not to prove how advanced your vocabulary is. Your goal is to connect. Some learners possess thousands of English words but speak very little. Others know far fewer words but use them confidently. Guess who sounds more fluent? The person who uses what they know. There is great freedom in accepting this. You do not need every word. You need enough words to continue. The next time your mind tells you, "I do not know the perfect English word," answer, "Then I will use a simpler one." That is not weakness. That is communication intelligence. Speak simply. Think simply. Keep moving. Your speed will begin increasing naturally. Lesson 2. Your mouth needs training too. There is something many English learners never realize. You can understand English beautifully and still struggle to speak it. Why? Because understanding language and producing language are different skills. Watching English trains your ears. Reading trains your eyes. But speaking requires something else. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw, your breathing, your timing. Your mouth must become familiar with English. That gives us rule number 3. Rule 3. Speak out loud every day. Not inside your head. Out loud. You may think, "But I have nobody to practice with." You do not need another person to begin. Talk to yourself. Yes, talk to yourself. Describe what you are doing. "I am making tea. Now I am checking my phone. I need to finish this work. I am going outside. I forgot my keys." Speak about yesterday. Speak about tomorrow. Describe the room. Explain a movie. Give yourself advice. Pretend someone asked you a question. Answer it. Why is this so powerful? Because knowledge that stays inside your head remains passive. Speaking turns passive knowledge into active ability. Your mouth begins remembering combinations of sounds. Common phrases become easier. Sentences stop feeling unfamiliar. And something beautiful begins happening. You stop needing so much permission from your brain. The words begin moving automatically. Think about a song you have heard 50 times. When it begins playing, you do not calculate every word. The next line arrives naturally. Why? Repetition. Language can work the same way. If you say, "I don't know what to do," once, it may feel difficult. Say it 50 times across different situations, and eventually it becomes one complete sound pattern. You are no longer creating each word separately. Your mouth remembers the whole phrase, which leads directly to rule number 4. Rule 4. Learn phrases, not lonely words. Many learners collect vocabulary like stamps. Opportunity, improve, decision, confident, experience, important. But real conversation does not happen through isolated vocabulary. We speak in combinations. Instead of learning only decision, learn. Make a decision. It's a difficult decision. I haven't decided yet. Instead of only opportunity, learn. A great opportunity. Don't miss this opportunity. I had the opportunity too. Instead of only confident, learn. I feel more confident. I'm not confident enough yet. I'm becoming more confident. These are language chunks. And chunks are incredibly important because they reduce thinking. Imagine building a wall. If every brick must be created from raw material while you build the wall, progress will be painfully slow. But if the bricks are already prepared, you simply arrange them. Phrases are your prepared bricks. Instead of creating every sentence from nothing, you connect familiar patterns. I think, I don't think. The reason is, it depends on. To be honest, what I mean is, in my opinion, I used to, I'm trying to, I would like to. These phrases give your mind time. They keep conversation alive. They create rhythm. Build a small collection of expressions that match your real life. Not expressions you might use once every 6 months. Expressions you need every day. Then repeat them, use them, own them. English becomes fast when sentences stop feeling new. Lesson 3. Make peace with imperfect English. Let us talk about something more difficult than vocabulary. Fear. Sometimes the sentence is ready, but fear says, "Don't speak. What if you make a mistake? What if they laugh? What if your pronunciation sounds strange? What if your grammar is wrong?" So you remain silent. And every time you remain silent because of fear, fear becomes stronger. This brings us to rule number 5. Rule 5. Choose communication over perfection. Please remember this sentence. Broken English that connects two people is more useful than perfect English that never leaves your mouth. Your grammar does not have to be perfect for someone to understand your meaning. Of course, grammar matters. Improvement matters. Accuracy matters. But perfection cannot be the entry ticket to conversation. Imagine waiting until you become physically perfect before entering a gym. It makes no sense. You go to the gym because you want to improve. Speaking English works the same way. Do not say, "I will speak when I become fluent." You become fluent because you speak. The mistake is part of the training. Maybe you say, "Yesterday I go to market." Someone corrects you. "Yesterday I went to the market." Wonderful. Now your brain has learned something from a real moment. That correction may remain with you much longer than reading the same grammar rule 10 times. Mistakes create memories. Stop treating every mistake like evidence that you are failing. Treat it like information. It tells you, here is one small area to improve. That is all. Do you know what happens when you stop demanding perfection from yourself? Your body relaxes. Your mind becomes less crowded. Words arrive faster. Because anxiety uses mental energy. When half your brain is speaking and the other half is judging every sentence, naturally you become slow. Release the judge while you are speaking. Correct yourself later. During conversation, stay alive. Stay connected. Keep moving. And please do not apologize every 30 seconds. Sorry, my English is bad. Sorry for my English. Sorry, I don't speak well. You are learning. You do not need to apologize for learning. Say what you can say. Smile. Continue. Confidence is not speaking without mistakes. Confidence is knowing a mistake cannot destroy you. That lesson reaches far beyond English. So many opportunities in life are lost because we wait to feel completely ready, but readiness often arrives after action. Courage comes first, confidence follows. Speak, make the mistake, learn, speak again. Your English will improve, and you may discover that you improve as a person too. Lesson 4. Stop studying random English. Some people study English for years, yet still struggle to have a 5-minute conversation. How can that happen? Because they study everything except the English they actually need. They memorize vocabulary about agriculture, politics, architecture, or rare academic concepts. But when someone asks, "What do you usually do on weekends?" they struggle. So rule number 6 is, Rule 6. Master your personal English. What is personal English? It is the English connected to your life, your family, your work, your studies, your dreams, your hometown, your daily routine, your hobbies, your opinions, your future plans, your past experiences. These topics appear again and again in real conversation, so master them. Prepare your story. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Why are you learning English? What do you enjoy? What challenges have you faced? What are you trying to achieve? What did you do yesterday? What will you do tomorrow? You should be able to speak about these things comfortably, not because you memorized one robotic speech, because you practiced the vocabulary and patterns connected to your real life. Suppose you work in sales. Learn the English you need for customers, products, prices, meetings, negotiations, and follow-ups. If you are a student, learn the English of classes, assignments, exams, teachers, subjects, and goals. If you are preparing for travel, learn airports, hotels, directions, food, emergencies, shopping, and simple conversations. Language becomes easier when it has a purpose. Do not try to conquer the entire dictionary. Conquer your world first. There are hundreds of thousands of English words. You do not need all of them. You need the words that help you express your life. Once your personal English becomes strong, confidence grows because conversations stop feeling completely unpredictable. You begin recognizing familiar territories. Someone asks about work? You have practiced it. Family? You have practiced it. Your goals? Practiced. Your opinion? Practiced. Your weekend? Practiced. And because these topics repeat, your answers become faster every time. This is how fluency grows. Not always through learning something new. Often through becoming extremely comfortable with what you already need. Depth before endless expansion. Master your English life. Then slowly make that world bigger. Lesson 5. Copy rhythm, not just words. Now we reach a rule that can transform how natural your English sounds. Rule 7. Shadow real English. Shadowing means listening to a short piece of English and repeating it aloud closely after the speaker. Not 10 minutes. Not an entire movie. Start with 10 or 20 seconds. Listen. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but everything worked out in the end. Pause. Repeat. Try again. Copy the rhythm. Copy the pauses. Copy where the voice rises and falls. Copy the connection between words. English is not spoken like a list of separate dictionary entries. Words connect. Sounds change. Some parts become strong, others become soft. When you only read English silently, you may understand the sentence but not feel its natural music. Shadowing teaches that music. Choose speakers you understand clearly. Use interviews, audiobooks, Podcasts, short speeches, simple conversations. Listen to a small section many times, then imitate. At first, you may feel ridiculous. Wonderful. Many useful things feel awkward before they feel natural. You are training muscles and timing that may never have worked this way before. Do it consistently. 5 focused minutes can be better than 50 distracted minutes. Listen, pause, repeat, record yourself occasionally, compare. Do not hate your voice. Observe it. Maybe one sound needs work. Maybe you pause in unnatural places. Maybe you pronounce every word too strongly. Maybe your speaking is too flat. Do not judge. Adjust. There is a huge difference between saying, "I sound terrible," and saying, "This word needs another 5 repetitions." One statement attacks you. The other improves you. Always choose improvement over self-attack. Your goal is not to erase your identity or force yourself to sound exactly like somebody else. You do not need somebody else's voice. You need clarity, comfort, natural rhythm, a voice that allows your ideas to travel freely. Your accent is not a shame. Your hesitation is not permanent. Train what matters. And with repetition, your speaking becomes smoother. Lesson 6. Build speed through repetition. Many learners misunderstand fast English. They believe they must push their mouth to move faster, so they rush. Words collide. Pronunciation becomes unclear. Breathing disappears. Confidence falls. Real speaking speed comes from familiarity, not pressure. That gives us rule number 8. Rule 8. Repeat the same topic until it becomes easy. Choose one topic. For example, my morning routine. Speak about it for 1 minute. The first time, you may stop often. I wake up at 7, then Good. Finish anyway. Then speak about the same topic again. Second attempt. Suddenly, some sentences arrive faster. Try a third time. Now your brain remembers the route. Try tomorrow. You may be surprised how easy it feels. Why? Because repetition removes decision-making. The first time you walk through an unknown city, you check every street. You stop. You look at signs. You wonder where to turn. After walking the same route every day for 1 month, your body almost moves automatically. Speech works similarly. Do not constantly change topics just because repetition feels boring. Repetition is where speed is born. Try this exercise. Choose one question. Why are you learning English? Answer for 60 seconds. Record it. Then immediately answer again. Your second attempt will usually be better. Then once more. Do not memorize word for word. Improve the flow. Maybe your first version is, I learn English because it is important for my job and I want to speak with people. Second, I'm learning English mainly because I want better opportunities at work and I also want to communicate confidently with people from different countries. Third, one of the biggest reasons I'm learning English is that I want to create more opportunities for myself. I also want to travel, communicate confidently, and express my ideas without fear. Look what happened. Same topic, more fluency, more detail, more confidence. You did not suddenly learn a new language. You became familiar with the road. Practice 10 common questions this way, then 20, then 50. You will create dozens of speaking pathways inside your brain. And that leads us to Rule 9. Rule 9. Practice with a timer. Give yourself 60 seconds. Speak continuously. The goal is not perfection. The goal is continuity. If you forget a word, describe it. If you make a mistake, continue. If your sentence becomes strange, rescue it. Keep going until the timer ends. This teaches one of the most important speaking skills, recovery. Real conversations are unpredictable. You will lose words sometimes. You will forget what you wanted to say. You will misunderstand questions. Fluency means you know how to recover. Use phrases like, "Let me say that differently. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know the exact word, but give me a second. I mean, basically, the main point is." These expressions keep the bridge standing while your mind searches for the next idea. A fluent speaker is not someone who never gets stuck. A fluent speaker knows what to do when they get stuck. Practice recovery. It will make you fearless. Lesson 7. Create an English life, not an English hour. We have reached the final lesson, and perhaps the most important rule of all. You can understand every technique in this video. You can write all 10 rules in your notebook. You can feel motivated today. But unless English becomes part of your ordinary life, very little will change. So Rule 10 is, Rule 10. Touch English every single day. Not once a week. Not only when motivation arrives. Daily. I did not say study for 5 hours. I said touch English every day. 10 minutes of speaking. A short podcast. 5 sentences in a journal. 1 conversation. A short shadowing session. Describe your day. Answer 1 question aloud. Read a page. Something. Consistency has a quiet power. People often search for dramatic transformations. They want the perfect course, the perfect teacher, the perfect method, the perfect morning routine. But progress often hides inside ordinary repetition. Day 1 does not look powerful, neither does day 2. Day 7 may still feel unimpressive. But 100 days of daily speaking? Now something has changed. Your mouth knows more. Your ears recognize more. Your brain translates less. Your fear has weakened. Your vocabulary has become active. Your common phrases arrive automatically. You are becoming someone different. And this is why I want you to stop asking, how many months will it take me to become fluent? Ask a better question. How many days in a row can I keep my promise to practice? Because results are not completely under your control. But today's practice is, you cannot control exactly when you will feel fluent. But you can speak for 10 minutes today. You cannot control whether someone judges your accent. But you can refuse to let their opinion silence you. You cannot control every difficult word. But you can communicate with the words you know. You cannot control every mistake. But you can decide whether one mistake stops you. This is bigger than English. Every meaningful change in life begins when you stop demanding certainty before taking action. Maybe English has made you feel small. Maybe you sat quietly in meetings, although you had something valuable to say. Maybe you avoided conversations. Maybe you watched other people speak confidently and thought, I wish I could do that. Maybe you have carried embarrassment from a moment when somebody laughed at your pronunciation. Maybe one teacher made you feel that you were not intelligent. Maybe one bad experience convinced you that languages are not for you. But one moment cannot decide your future. One person cannot define your ability. One mistake cannot become your identity. Your English today is not your English forever. Please understand that. You are allowed to improve slowly. You are allowed to sound like a beginner while becoming better. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to ask someone to repeat. You are allowed to pronounce a word incorrectly and learn it later. You are allowed to speak simple English proudly. You are allowed to begin again. Sometimes learners become frustrated because they compare chapter 1 of their journey with chapter 20 of somebody else's. They see a confident speaker online. They hear beautiful pronunciation. They see someone switching languages easily. And instead of becoming inspired, they become discouraged. But you did not see that person's first 100 awkward conversations. You did not see the mistakes, the embarrassment, the repetition, the days when progress felt invisible. Never compare your behind-the-scenes practice with someone else's finished performance. Your only meaningful comparison is this: am I slightly stronger than I was yesterday? Maybe yesterday you could speak for 30 seconds. Today, 45. That matters. Maybe last month you translated every sentence. Today, one sentence arrived directly in English. That matters. Maybe you used to avoid phone calls. Today, you answered one. That matters. Progress does not need to be loud to be real. There will also be days when your English feels worse. You will forget simple words. You will feel tired. You will speak beautifully one day and struggle the next. Do not panic. Learning is not a straight line. Sometimes your brain is building connections you cannot see. Keep practicing. Do not judge an entire journey by one bad conversation. Imagine planting a seed and digging it out every morning to check whether it has grown. You would destroy the very thing you are trying to grow. Practice. Water it. Trust the process. Leave room for time. And remember the 10 rules we have learned. Think in small English. Use the words you already know. Speak out loud every day. Learn phrases, not lonely words. Choose communication over perfection. Master your personal English. Shadow real English. Repeat the same topic until it becomes easy. Practice speaking with a timer. And touch English every single day. These rules are simple, but simple does not mean weak. A key can be small and still open a huge door. The question is not whether these rules work. The question is, will you practice them long enough for them to work in you? Because watching a motivational video can make you feel powerful for 20 minutes, but transformation happens after the video ends. When nobody is watching, when there is no applause, when you stand in your room and speak English alone, when you repeat the sentence again, when you listen again, when you make the mistake again, when you wake up tomorrow and continue, that is where fluency is built, quietly, privately, one sentence at a time. And one day something beautiful will happen. Someone will ask you a question in English, and you will answer. Then another question. You answer again. Minutes later, you realize something. You were not translating. You were not calculating grammar. You were not thinking about every word. You were communicating. And perhaps you will smile, because the moment you waited for did not arrive like lightning. It arrived through hundreds of ordinary days when you refused to quit. That is how many breakthroughs happen. People see the result. They rarely see the repetition. So do not chase fast English. Build familiar English. Do not chase perfect English. Build usable English. Do not chase somebody else's accent. Build your own clear voice. Do not wait for confidence. Build evidence. Every day you practice becomes evidence. I can do this. Every conversation becomes evidence. I survived. Every mistake becomes evidence. I can learn. Every small improvement becomes evidence. I am moving. And when your mind says, you are too slow, answer, I am still moving. When fear says, you will make mistakes, answer, then I will learn from them. When perfection says, wait until you are ready, answer, I become ready by beginning. And when somebody tells you, your English is not good enough, do not fight them, do not argue. Keep learning until their opinion becomes irrelevant. You have a voice. English is only another tool that can help your voice travel farther. The world does not need another person pretending to be perfect. It needs people who are willing to communicate honestly, people willing to learn, people willing to grow, people willing to speak even when their voice shakes. So speak. Speak slowly if you must. Pause if you must. Use simple vocabulary if you must. But speak, because the sentence you are afraid to say today may become effortless tomorrow. The conversation you avoid today may become normal next month. The English that feels impossible today may someday become part of your everyday life. But that future begins with one decision. Not tomorrow. Not when you buy another course. Not when your vocabulary becomes perfect. Today, after this video ends, choose one topic, set a timer for 60 seconds, and speak. Do not prepare for 20 minutes. Do not search for difficult vocabulary. Use what you have. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Then do it again tomorrow. And again. And again. One day, you will look back at the version of yourself who was afraid to speak one sentence. And you may wish you could tell that person, you were much closer than you thought. You didn't need more fear. You needed more practice. You didn't need permission. You needed courage. You didn't need perfection. You needed consistency. So from this moment forward, stop saying, I can't speak English. Change the sentence. Say, I am training myself to speak English. There is power in that difference. I can't closes the door. I am training keeps the door open. You are not finished. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. Give yourself that time, but give yourself effort too. Your future voice is being built by the sentences you practice today. Make them count. Before you leave, write this in the comments. I will speak English without fear. Do not write it for me. Write it for yourself. Let it remind you that your journey is no longer about waiting to become perfect. It is about becoming brave enough to practice. And if you know someone who understands English but is still afraid to speak, share this message with them. Sometimes people do not need another grammar rule. Sometimes they simply need somebody to remind them. Your voice deserves practice. Keep speaking, keep learning, keep showing up, and never be ashamed of sounding like someone who is learning. Because every fluent speaker was once exactly where you are. The only question is whether you will continue long enough to discover how powerful your voice can become.